Good. How are you?
Good. Long time kind of no see. We just kind of reconnected after some time, right?
Yes, yeah, I guess so.
It's nice to be reconnected with you. I've thought about you so many times over the past, several years and, have heard about how you're doing and all of that stuff. And, I have to say, just first and foremost, how happy, I am to have the opportunity to kind of catch up with you, as we have been over the past couple of weeks, and kind of hear what you have been up to recently. It's really special for me. Can you just talk a little bit about why you and I specifically have such a special relationship, just for the audience to have some context?
Well, I guess we've known each other probably about 12 years now, I want to say.
Where did the time go?
It's kind of crazy to think that.
I know.
Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, 12 years because I met you when I was a freshman at Pace University. And I was, it's gone for so many names. I was I was a part of the BOSS program, which was students on the spectrum, but also students who had other, evolved into students who had other learning disabilities or nonverbal learning disorder like myself. So there was four of us, and we were the kind of the first class for the BOSS program, now OASIS program.
Yeah.
That's how, I have a tickle in my throat. Of course.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, to start something new like that, and not, kind of know, how things were going to go, or what we would need, or, it was exciting but scary at the same time. And I remember the day that you guys moved into the residence halls the first time, we all connected over the phone, and we were texting, and how's everybody doing? And I remember at the end of the night just saying to myself, oh my God, it's really happening. Like, they moved, everybody's moved in, and like they're starting college, and it was a really special moment. And, over the years, it's been so nice to kind of see you go from undergrad to grad school to professional, the professional world. And so, tell me a little bit about kind of the best thing about that transition from college to the professional landscape for you. Like what has been the best thing, that has happened during that transition?
Ooh. I think just getting older and growing wiser has probably been the best thing. There's so many things that you truly do think you know when you're younger, and you have this perspective of how your life is going to be or how it should be. And then as you go through that transition, like in the work world and in the post-college world or post-high school world, you start to realize that, okay, maybe this isn't what I wanted, or maybe what everyone else is doing isn't quite what I want to do. And you start really seeing more what your own purpose is in life. So I think that's what's been exciting for me, I have to say.
Yeah. And what about
Watching it all.
what about in terms of challenging? What has been the most challenging thing about that transition?
I really did like college. I love college. I wish I could be in college forever, just because I met so many great friends there. But I think the biggest challenge for me has been navigating the workforce, I have to say. It's very hard, I think, to get prepared for the workforce, especially because there are so many nuances that they don't always teach you directly in college. Like, I think a lot of times you're trained in a certain major, a certain field, but so many of what you need, especially nowadays, are those, I guess what they would say, the soft skills, right?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just negotiating those relationships, and, and on various different levels. And, I think, when I graduated from college, one of the things that I, remember was challenging was just, there was a built-in social life, right? When it came
Yes.
to college, everybody was living together and around. And then when you graduate and you transition to an apartment or, you know, a job, employment, you know, that social landscape isn't, you know, as easily accessible, and you really have to try a lot harder to like see your
Yes.
friends and keep in touch, right? And so that's definitely can be very challenging. You know, on another note, I was so proud to hear that you recently started your own blog. Congratulations. I know how much you love writing, but also how talented you are at it. Tell me about what inspired you to do that.
Oh, it's so I don't think there's like a singular simple answer for this. I actually started writing about it in my blog. Part of the inspiration. Um, so part of it was, I think, just 2020 as a whole. I think there was so much that was just changing in the landscape of our times, just how I guess, unfortunately evolved, like the racial violence. I think it shifted a lot of how we thought about what are we doing right now and how are we treating other people. And I think it got me thinking about my own difficulties in life and what kind of, in the ways where before is maybe I internalized them. I started to look outwards, like, okay, maybe there was just certain also systems in place or attitudes of people that would have helped me out a lot more, and that it wasn't all just on me. And so as I began to question that, I also going through some other difficult things, like just with my difficulties with work and everything, and kind of finding the right career path that would accept me as for my disability. I felt it was a way to really be open about just both my challenges and also all the gifts I also have because of having nonverbal learning disorder. So I really wanted to highlight that.
And I have to say, I read it, you know, what you've written so far, and it really is really beautiful, and it really speaks so well, right? To, you know, and it's such it's so great to read. And it's very relatable to the world of learning differences. And so, you know, with thinking about that, you know, talk about your intention just, you know, on a larger scale, right? Like, what do you hope the blog achieves kind of for others? I think that it's been a great outlet for you and empowering for you. But what about others? What would you like to see others get out of it?
I definitely want anybody who identifies as having a learning difference or a neurodiverse, or maybe just any other way they kind of diverge from the norm. I want it to be a space for them to also feel like they can relate, that they don't feel so alone, because I think so many people don't speak about these challenges or what they've gone through. So I think that's one of my intentions. But I also want for people to see who don't have learning differences, maybe a clearer picture of what we go through, and just the difficulties we have through school and work and socializing, and just like how much we have to really put in to succeed in those areas. So my hope is, as well, is that other people can gain perspective, and maybe just change how they think about things. And I feel like we are starting to see more of that paradigm shift a little bit.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of times in my career, what has been challenging in terms of that kind of understanding or putting yourself in the shoes of somebody, you know, that has a learning difference, is that you know, it's something you can't see, right? It's not something you wear. It's not, right? It's not a broken arm, right? Where it's in a
Yeah.
sling, right? It's not a pair of eyeglasses that help you see, right? It's internal. So hard sometimes for people to understand the nuances of how complicated, right? And how sensitive and fragile the brain is, and how it can work differently depending on who you are. And so I think, you know, your blog is definitely touching on that. And it really helps people to get the perspective of what it's like to live and breathe, you know, as an individual with a learning difference. And I think you're doing such an incredible thing for you know, the neurodiverse community, especially sharing your story. And you know, I'm so incredibly proud of you and how far you've come. And you're, you know, like, you're just, you know, I've watched you grow over the years.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, from, a teenager, right?
Yeah, I guess
To a
so.
young adult. And so, you know, you're just, seeing you go through all that process, I think that others that read your blog can find a sense of connection to it and say, oh, that could be me in 10 years, that could be me in 5 years. And so I think it's really wonderful. I do want to share, with the audience, your blog is daringtodiverge.wordpress.com. So if anybody's interested in reading it, and I would highly recommend it and sharing it with friends and family, they can find it there, daringtodiverge.wordpress.com, or they can reach out to me and I can send them a direct link. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I don't think so. It's just been great really chatting and catching up.
Sure. And I forgot to say, Alyssa says hi. I told her you and I were talking today, and she wanted me. Yeah, she wanted me to send. She was like, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to talk to Alison today. Tell her I said hi." I said I will. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks so much, Alison, for your time. And let's stay in touch. This was really fun.
Absolutely. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.